Draw Stuff with Roger. Hey guys, today we are going to be just drawing a reindeer, and we're going to use a pencil from the dollar store, a Sharpie from the dollar store, and a eraser that I found kicking around. So we're going to start with a upside down triangle, but we're not going to quite finish it. We're going to leave a little space here. And we're going to put a circle in that space. And we're going to put a couple little triangles that aren't very sharp on the edges there. And look, it's already looking like a cow. Okay, so we've got some eyeballs. Now, you could turn this into a cow pretty easy if you wanted to. But today, we're going to put some antlers on top. And you can make these as funky as you want, kind of go loopy with it if you would like, or you can copy my design. And I'm going to add 2 lines here, and I'm not going to put a line across. I'm going to do a circle attaching the 2 lines, and look at the body. And I'm going to put some pretty simple shapes down here to create the legs, and I am just putting a little line at the bottom to make it look like there is some hooves on the bottom of that. Now this is a pretty simple one, but sometimes adding something else is kind of nice. So we're going to do 3 circles, and then we're going to do what kind of looks like a C on its side. So if you look at the top here, I do not do it right the first time to try and show you, so I'm going to have to erase that, and I'm going to try again. So I'm going to do it a little bit more like a C that time. There we go. And then I'm going to just put an upside down U on top of it, and then bloop, and you kind of turn it into a little top hat. And a carrot nose. And some charcoal for the eyes. And I just put a nice little mouth. And today we're going to give this guy a scarf. Because snowmen's always look kind of neater with a scarf. I think it adds a touch that makes them kind of come to life when you put a hat on them, or a scarf, or just kind of some item of clothing. I've seen some wearing boots that were pretty funny looking. Big rubber boots. And we're going to just give this a bottom. So some snow going across. And I think today we're going to decide where we're at. Where do you think these guys should be at? Do you think this should be a signpost saying desert, mountain, or do you think maybe should be saying the North Pole? I went with North Pole this time, but you could have all kinds of fun with this and put anywhere you wanted to. And here we go. And now what we're going to do is, I like to take a Sharpie or a black marker or a pen even, and just kind of go over the outlines of what I've done. Now during this process, I tend to get rid of some of the harsh corners if I'm making an animal. So I kind of curve the corners a little bit, or I'll give them some funky hair like I did here. And you can see I kind of curve the ears a little bit more. And I leave some spaces so you can see that the ears are attached to the head now. And I make sure I don't finish those lines inside of the nose. And I do some funky eyeballs that are looking straight ahead today. Now sometimes I put a little white dot in the eyeballs, or I leave space for a white dot. But sometimes when you kind of want to make a character look a little bit silly, putting straight eyeballs with no pupils or no white dots kind of makes them look a little more silly. And that's what I'm going for here. There's nothing serious about this reindeer, that's for sure. Now, if you had pencil crayons, you could draw and color in the colors, whatever color you want. Maybe give them a glowing red nose even. Who knows? You could draw Santa's kingdom in the background, like a big kind of castle or any kind of thing you think might be at the North Pole. Maybe an abominable snowman. Ooh, that would be kind of neat in the background. Or just a mountain. Now, if you were in the South Pole, you could draw some penguins, but there's no penguins in the North Pole. Maybe a polar bear. That would be pretty cool. And then here we're just going to go over these lines again. And I'm going to try and kind of hide some of the lines here as I'm making the scarf. So I make sure the scarf looks like it's kind of folding into itself a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect because, again, we're just doing this for fun. And art should never be a stressful event. It should always just be kind of fun. And you know what? If you make a mistake, it's okay. Because that means you're learning. If you don't make a mistake, then that means you need to try something a little harder maybe so that you can make some mistakes and learn. Because that's how our brains learn. And it's always okay to make mistakes. So we're going to do here what's called cross hatching. And it's just making cross lines to make it look like there's some texture to it. So if you look at clothing really closely, you'll see some lines going back and forth because the fabric is made out of tiny little strings that are going back and forth. So if you give anything that kind of texture, it makes it look like that. So there we go. And you guys have a happy holidays.